It's Shamir Maloney. I'm sorry. Are you thinking about buying a home? Are you currently in the process of buying a home? Do you plan on buying a home in the future? Stick around. This video is for you. And like I said, I'm Shamir Maloney, owner of So What I'm Living Productions. But I also own SummerCold HVAC. We're licensed contractors in the Arizona Valley. So I'm gonna give you the perspective of a contractor, but I also have purchased and owned my own home for close to 6 years now. So I'm going to give you the perspective of a homeowner, right? So to answer my question, or the first thing that I want you guys to know, or the question I pose is it the right time to buy a house, right? And this is a question that has been on the tip of a lot of people's tongues right now. Interest rates, home prices. And I'm going to be honest with you. That's something that has always been on people's minds, right? Now, I'll tell you this. I purchased my home during the 2020 financial crisis, right? At the start of the 2020 financial crisis, when nobody was buying homes, when, interest rates were rock bottom, and people were saying the same thing. It's just not a good time to buy a house. It's not a good time to buy a house. I actually were purchasing my home during the financial crisis. Now, I will say this: everyone wasn't in the position that I was in. Not meaning that I had a bunch of money, meaning that I had a family, two children. I was living, buying the house for a financial investment as I was buying a house for the investment in the growth of my family, right? So we also got to remember that the home is going to be a large asset, to most people, which is why they give us what's called an FHA loan, right? And that comes from the government that gives, people an opportunity to buy a house that would never have a chance to buy a house. Because way back when, put, 20, 15% down on conventional loans, whereas on a FHA loan, you only had to put an investment in my. While everybody told me that I was insane for buying a house during, a financial crisis, the opportunity took the risk for various. Next factor that I want to tell you, if you're thinking about buying a home, if you're purchasing a home, big you get and what kind of home you're looking for. Because no matter what, even on a new construction house, there are going to be things inside that house that need to be repaired, right? Now, on top of making your mortgage, on top of making your electricity bill, on top of paying any warranties, water bill, etc., you're going to have to get those things fixed. You're no longer a renter. There's no maintenance man coming. You can't call down to the office and say, hey, my toilet stopped up. I need somebody out here, right? So when you go buy these homes, you need to make sure that it's something that you're able to handle, right? If you're not good at fixing cars, I wouldn't recommend you get an old school car. I also wouldn't recommend you get a brand new car without a warranty. You don't know how to fix cars. And that's the same thing with home ownership. When you go buy this home, you are fully responsible for this home now. If the water heater goes out, you now have to pay for the water heater, or you have to pay for the deductible for your home warranty or your homeowner's insurance. Now we have to keep this in mind because when I was younger, I always thought that I wanted a big house. I thought that having a big house was the best thing in the world. I don't recommend anybody getting a big home. Getting a big home is, unless you're rich, getting a big home is going to be a headache, right? Because when you get a house that's larger than 2,000 square feet, right? And this is a big home to me. Anything larger than 2,000 square feet, you now have to have two air conditioners. You now have to have two water heaters, two thermostats. You have to have almost two of every one of those basic essentials. right? So now we're thinking that, hey, man, I want a 4-bedroom house. I want it to have 3 bathrooms. It's going to be 3,000, 2,500 square feet. So on top of making that high mortgage, we're going to have to take care of more appliances. We're going to have to take care of more air conditioners. You understand what I'm saying? Because one air conditioner, which is a 5-ton air conditioner, can only do about 2,000 square feet, depending on the heat load, right? And the heat calculation. So when we're looking at these homes, either from an investment standpoint or from I'm about to live in this house standpoint, we have to understand that the more square footage is gonna take more to do to cool it down, to heat it up. And this brings me to my next point: the electricity bills, the utility bills. With the size of the house, there's more space to cool. I live in Arizona. We stay in the Sonoran Desert. This is one of the hottest places in North America, let alone the planet Earth, right? Why anybody chooses to live here, I chose to live here, so I'm not going to say that. So we choose to live here because it's a great place and we have air conditioning. But we also